Hey, BC, it's me, Eric Weinbender. Long overdue to make an appearance in the YouTube realm of the vinyl community. I've been pretty active on the Instagram aspect of the VC, but long overdue to make a video and hang out. So, life, new job, steadfast pursuing growth in a new career. Excuses, I can make plenty. And then a hurricane, right when I pulled records and decided, like, I'm really gonna, let me get this in here. Hurricane just slapped my area, something fierce, and things came to a screeching halt. I didn't have power for close to 2 weeks, and I've had multiple outages since then. We got wrecked. Feel free to donate to charitable causes. It's not too late. A lot of people are struggling in this region. All right, that aside, and not to guilt trip you anyone out there into spending their money on charity, let's just get after it, okay? If you don't know, if you haven't hung out in a while, I'm Big Burly Bro, Eric Weinbender. I don't hide who I am. I'm just me. And part of me being me is I try to make my videos feel as much as possible like just a hangout. Now, obviously, if you don't comment or, leave something in the comment section, we can't have it back and forth. But I try to make this feel as much as possible as just a hangout, like you're in that chair right there, and we're just kicking it. So this is going to be a plethora of records, a myriad. I got a cornucopia, a multitude of records to show here. So I'll try not to be too long-winded on every individual record or too many thoughts, because I got a bunch to show. But I didn't know how to get my foot back in the door, so I'm doing something I haven't ever done, is a best finds of 2024. And obviously I haven't been making videos in a while. I can't recall when I bought what, so there's probably some spillover. Some of this shit's probably from 2023, but sue me. All right, whatever. Let's get back in the routines like I used to do. What's the drink for the night? Just nothing too fancy. Crown and Coke. Cheers, VC. Cheers to 2025. And also, I guess, a wee bit fancy, because this is on sale for recently, Crown Black. So I'm acidity over here. All right, that's what's up. That's what's the drinking. What's the spinning? Cambodian nuggets. One tidbit about me: my first musical adventurous listening, or first paths I took to, leaving the mainstream. My dad had the Nugget comps, so I always loved those, and developed an affinity for 60s mod and psychedelia and garage rock, etc., etc. And so because of that, I'm a sucker for all things. And you label anything nuggets, I'm going to give it a go. I'll probably blind buy anything. This Cambodian nuggets lives up to what you think it was. Not terribly expensive. Pretty rad. Mixture of non-English and English vocals. Pretty cool stuff, if you ask me. All right, in that same vein, this year, Record Store Day, which happened to follow my birthday, they followed up on their nuggets. All right, so this year was Los Nuggets, 60s garage and psychedelia, all Latin flair. All right, so really rad stuff, exactly what you expect. This one happens to be on red wax. The previous year they did a big official box set of the Nuggets, and then this year they followed up with this. It was my birthday. This was my sister gave me a gift card, so I was going to buy it for myself, and luckily enough, it was no money out of pocket. I really enjoyed this, especially because, to be honest with you, something was always such a mainstay in my life for the past years and years, was just being engrossed, without being Latin, just being like engrossed in the Latin culture. And, my chick left me on Noche Buena, and so, not only did me and a car, come to a screeching halt and a crash, but so did life itself. So on account of that, I kind of, wasn't intending to, but stepped away from all things Latin-based, listening and just culture otherwise. My life shifted on me. I lost a family in the process of the car accident. All right, but so one thing then, I don't know where I didn't paint that eloquently, because I'm not trying to belittle or badmouth anyone from my past. I wish everyone the best. But to kind of segue that, I found this very cathartic and enjoyable listening. I missed out on a bunch of things at the time of the car accident. So when Mars Volta's 7th album dropped, self-titled Mars Volta, it was gold instead of chrome with a black trim, right? I wasn't even aware that they re-released that album, and they just literally re-recorded it in an all-acoustic set with like more of a Latin flair. And I found that to be more like hauntingly beautiful. Really well done. This is Que Dios te maldiga mi corazón, which I think translates to like, may God curse my heart, which seemed appropriate for the time of what I was going through in my life. But Cerulean and Black Light Shine would probably be two ones if you want to investigate this. If you're making a choice between the two, like say this is literally a re-recording, I think the acoustic set is better. This is my preference of the two albums that are kind of the same, but different. I don't own the other one, and even though I'm a huge fan of the Mars Volta and probably eventually a completist, that album's probably my last priority. But in turn, with the Mars Volta, I started just picking them off one at a time. Locally here, and I guess I should just say this here so I don't have to say where I got every record from. I'm a crate digger through and through. I get 95% plus. I mean, this year I maybe grabbed 5 records on mine. Everything else is in the crates. I didn't do a whole lot of traveling this year, so everything either came out of Charlotte, North Carolina, or here in Greenville, or I actually got to hit up some record shows, which is first time I've ever done that in my life. Now that I'm not a chef, my hours are a little bit different and more accommodating towards that. But this was Pharmacy Records, Kevin Floor Records, Horizon Records here in Greenville, and then Noble Records, Lunchbox Records, and Premium Sound in Charlotte is where I think I got all my records this year. But back to the nitty gritty of it, Mars Volta, Tremulin EP, one I've wanted for a while, acquired this, and then just kept the ball rolling. I think I'm down to the point now where I just need, not Tourniquet would be cool, but the one I'm really hunting for is Bedlam and Goliath. Alright, so this one right here is Amputecture, and I can't recall if it was this Amputecture was on a surprise trip to Charlotte, or if it was Octahedron. It was one of these two records. Out the blue, one thing I didn't mention is the Sweet Weagle Beagle, ancient old lady puppy dog that was a member of the family for 17 glorious years, passed away. And so after a couple months went by, Mom wanted to reintroduce a new dog to the family. And so we drove up to North Carolina to buy a puppy dog. And so his name's Jägermeister. He's a sweet dog. But I did not know that I was literally driving within 10 miles of Noble Records. And Mom doesn't drive a lot, so I chauffeured her. And I said, hey, Mom, if I'm making this road trip, do you mind if I step into Noble Records out the blue? So I just came in with a young puppy, saying, what's up, Dillon? We made brief small talk. I did minimal crate digging, just as a little reward to myself for, doing a day's worth of driving. I grabbed this and 2 or 3 other records, I think some Brown Acid Comps or whatever. But added these Mars Voltas to the collection. Definitely some of the best finds. One of my all-time favorite bands. So, like I say, slowly becoming the completist on that. All right, one thing I want to touch base on, because I'm not just buying music like retroactively, like as much as I'm a huge fan of like 60s and 70s music, etc. I'm still listening to some newer bands. But for me, it seems like the best contemporary music, rap's mostly dead. Outside of with some stuff that Killer Mike and Kendrick Lamar are doing, it's really whack. A lot of the newer metal doesn't please me. But the thing I find most rewarding as far as musical genre is kind of things in the realm of punk. All right, so this is Australian pub rock in the world of punk. Smoky Translucent, Amyl and the Sniffers. This is their latest album. If you don't know the band, this is as good as where any place is as good as anywhere to start with the band. If you like the previous albums, you'll like this. It's just really good, bratty, nasty, raw attitude, punk rock, pub rock. Good stuff. Really like it. If you don't know the band, grab any of their albums and just dive in. Also, a band that's been dropping more records. This is Idols. I want to say this one's nominated for a Grammy. I think it warrants it. But Tank, really cool stuff. Art rock meets dance punk. good energy, but still that raw, gritty attitude, that kind of in-your-face, F you attitude, while still being like, I don't want to say warm and welcoming, but like maybe to the ear, so to speak. Not going to get too big into color variants and etc. here because we only have so much time. But got to do a big shout out to this. I love when bands do variants that are exclusive to indie record stores. Walmart and Amazon and Target only need so much of your money. I like when bands do stuff for indie stores. All right, here's one that's not super recent release, but Glow On by Turnstile. I want to say this dropped maybe a month. I was laid up in the hospital at the time this came out, so I missed it at the time, and it wasn't in stores. And so I asked Frank at Pharmacy Records, says, "Hey man, can you order this for me? Because I mean the whole album's good, but Holiday and TLC, Turnstile Love Connection, are just banger tracks. This band is awesome live. Really want to see them live. Look them up online. Great energy, more like melodic hardcore with like alternative rock leanings. So maybe more digestible for those that don't really aren't truly into punk. So I thought it was just really dope, and I've been meaning to add them to the collection, but this one hit so hard, and I liked it so much. I asked my boy at the record store, I was like, hey, if you're restocking, do you want to restock their prior records, and I'll go and snag them from you? So I grabbed the first two, and the reason I mentioned this band, one, investigate what they've already done, but also they're supposed to be in the works for their next album. So keep an eye out for that. I listened to their previous albums, but then also if the next album follows up with what they have been doing, I'd say it's definitely worth copping. All right, in a hard shift now. Go from things punk to jazz. So I kind of tapped out on jazz for a little bit because with all these archival re-releases, everyone was just collecting these things like baseball cards, and I felt like nobody, not to question anyone's integrity, because big jazz heads could break things down to a molecular level and tell you what's what, and if you're listening to it, then you might decipher what you want. But so many people were just saying that you have to have every single blue note that came out, and I just stopped caring. Honestly, when everything's being told you gotta have it, and then it just loses its substance. It's kind of like Crying Wolf. But this is an album I've been aware of for years. It was recorded in the early 70s in Donald Byrd's heyday. Big fan of Donald Byrd. But this wasn't released until 1996 with limited pressings throughout the years. So it's a hard one to find, and if you want to buy it online, you had to fork over some money. So I was stoked. I already knew what this was, so when it dropped, I was happy to cop it. Also, one more jazz to get in here. Well, I guess it's not exclusively jazz, but Blow Up, the soundtrack, Shrinkie copy with the hype sticker. You can tell it's a soundtrack there on this MGM label. It's all Herbie Hancock with a track by the Yardbirds. This goes hard. Really enjoy it. Good stuff, quality jazz, and then that gem by the Yardbirds makes it, for someone who's gotten back into DJing, makes it good to play two ways over, because I've worked at Yardbirds in a set that would not fit with anything else on this album, and I've also played some of this Herbie Hancock stuff in sets that wouldn't at all include the Yardbirds. But this is a fun one. A friend got an upgrade copy and then cut loose, which is crazy because as clean as this thing is, you have to imagine how immaculate theirs is. But they cut this one loose with this absolutely pristine gem of a copy, and they let this copy go. All right, so some time ago, this is in 2023, a local shop, Pharmacy Records, got in this collection. It would have been the envy of Bill at the Vinyl First. Just a huge, steadfast flow of kraut rock and jazz fusion and prog and really rad stuff. So John the Digital Gramophone and Dave, local bandography or VC ambassador, they went digging with me, but every couple weeks there'd just be a restock, and I'm only showing a fraction of what I added to the collection from what was constantly being dumped in the bins. I mean, Pharmacy Records takes care of me anyways on a regular basis as far as what they provide. They always have good stuff, but in particular, it was really good digging. And I went on a stretch where Jane on Brain, like a lot of these bands I'm about to show, I got multiple albums from them all individually, but I'm only gonna grab one each and just keep it moving here. But Jane on Brain, also on the more traditional Brain label, the green Brain label, is Steam Hammer. I think this is one's a winner. I posted this one on Instagram. I actually gave it a long-winded write-up of my thoughts on the album and a musical sample, which I do on Instagram if anyone wants to actually hear me talk about music and not just ramble about like or more so do so in these videos. My Solid Ground. So I'm going to blast through some of these. Jade Warrior on the Vertigo UFO label. That's pretty cool, but extremely clean copy on this. One of the worst album covers ever of all time. Guru Guru. Really clean copy. Got multiple Guru albums. Also got multiple albums by Cran. Not to be confused with Krang from Ninja Turtles. But another really clean copy right here. Whatever that spec is. Forgive me. But, alright, here's a side note. Alright, so these are just things that I thought were pretty dope and provided for me. And that, like they say, that spilled into 2024, so I thought it was worth showing. Sometimes what's really cool about a find, especially when you're like a perpetual crate digger, is what you find with a record. I remember one time I found a Leon Haywood. It had a condom, luckily unused, a condom in a wrapper, a crushed straw, and a pack of rolling papers. That was dope, right? So you know what someone's plan was for that weekend. But Riot. So this is just some 80s metal goodness, right? I guess if you're a metalhead, you should know who Riot is. But if you're not really a metal person, I don't know how well you're going to know Riot. I guess I wouldn't say they're ultra obscure, but they're definitely like second, third tier of popularity amongst like metalheads. But this is what's cool with it. This came with the album. All right. And this is what made the find so special. Not on 3-ring, but old 5-ring paper. And this, you had to imagine, this has been in the 80s. All right. So this would have been the text message of the day was a handwritten note in cursive. And this is from a lady. And you know, it's crazy. I wouldn't necessarily initially think of like 80s metal, much less Riot, as like music a chick's digging into, you know. But not that I wouldn't find that dope, you know. Chick that finds Riot attractive, I'd find them attractive. But so here's the handwritten note, and forgive me, I'll try to read this with the exuberance that she wrote with her spaces and her pauses and explanation points. Barry. Thanks for letting me borrow the album. I did not egg your house. Ask anybody. I'm sorry that you dislike me so much. Thanks for helping me with my problem with JS. It's over now. I will always remember you. Sorry, Lisa. P.S. Scott told me what you thought about me. I can't help my love for Mike. My parents like him, and you know that I would never go all the way. I'm sorry you feel that way. Goodbye. Whew. This poor Barry guy fell in love with a girl that likes Riot and got played out. I guess lesson learned there. Maybe it's maybe don't dig a chick that likes Riot. Maybe you're just gonna get maybe you're gonna get teased along and it fizzles out and goes nowhere. But Thundersteel, Riot, a gem of album anyways. But that silly little note makes it all the more special. Like one of those weird things you just acquire while crate digging. All right, to keep it metal briefly here, of stuff you don't find every single day. Clean in the ancient days, Asgard, Dutch speed metal, clean copy, original inner sleeve. Stoked to have that in the collection. Like I say, really D&D-esque. What a tremendous album cover. Shout out Aaron the Metal Theologian. What you think about that one, bro? And then In Destroy, Speed meets Thrash, more mid-80s. I think they're out of Maryland. The U.S. speed thrash metal. Okay vocals, not amazing, but kind of in your face, just brash 80s metal. Just really clean copy in the shrink with a hype sticker. You know, outside of a notch, that's not hurting my feelings, but all right. That's a cool find. All right. Different avenue now to leave metal behind, at least temporarily. I think I got some more coming up here in the mix. One thing I've been really enjoying pursuing here in collecting is the Noble Records exclusives. Dillon and I have a big overlap. You know, everyone has their own musical taste, but we have a lot of mirrored, shared opinions on music. And I don't buy them all, but man, I'm probably a good 70-75% of his exclusives I'm about, and I buy them. This is one that way before I was a member of the VC or knew about Dillon, I'd wanted this record for a long time. Finding an original seemed impossible, and I didn't really care for a bootleg, and I didn't want to hunt down alternate copies online. I just kind of wanted to find it in a bin. And so when Dillon had a exclusive coming out, I knew I was going to cop it. So occasionally I'll have him mail them to me, but I usually just say, hey man, the privy of being close enough, I'll be like, can you set these aside? I'll make an excuse to go visit you and buy this record. So this one is a one of 1,000 variant for Noble Records. Super stoked to have this in the collection. And I don't want to go on a tirade of all the different variants or records that he's released on his record label. One second. Pause. Catch you on the B-side. All right, so here's another one from Noble Records. I've been looking for this Thunder and Roses for a long time, right? And I thought, you know, this can't be one that's that crazy to find. I didn't want to tap out, and I was just like, man, one of these days I'll cop it. It'll be all good. And I saw Dillon releasing a variant, and so I said, you know what? Let me go and grab this. I said, might as well. Super stoked with it, right? I played this one time, all right. And then, wouldn't you know it, I get back into Greenville crate digging, and the very next time I'm crate digging, I find this extremely clean copy. So, you know, artists, right? So this two-tone United Artists label. This is the sickness, the weirdness I have, and this is not unique to me. I now bought this album. I didn't need this. But there's like the gratification of finally finding the used copy in the bins that you've been digging for forever. So even though I literally just, I think a week prior to this, bought the record, I bought this record again. It's one of maybe a handful of records out of my ever-growing collection. I maybe have like 4 or 5 records I have doubles on, and this is one of them. It's a gem. If you like psychedelia, I would say investigate this. Find a copy one way or another. It's good stuff. All right, but so that's going to segue into a little section here I'm going to run through of records that, man, maybe they're not like the most rarest thing or the most obscure music or, you know, a lot of this should be like mostly ubiquitous. You should know about it. But I just been digging for, and a lot of these waiting for a clean copy. Like Space Ritual. I found this record multiple times. All right, but never this flawless, pristine. I mean, this looks unplayed. I mean, when I had to grab this, I already have Hawkwind in the collection. This live album, I didn't know how much I really needed it, but it's tremendous. It's one of the best live albums of all time. Recorded live at Liverpool Stadium and Brixton Sundown. All right, but really rad stuff. I've been crate digging for this for a while, and when you find a copy that clean, you have to. Same goes with this Taste in the Shrinkie label on Atco. Just a really, really clean copy. Couldn't leave it behind. Kind of in the realm of obscurity, I'd been digging for this for a long time. This is the one you mainly find. This is the debut album by Elf. This is Ronnie James Dio. Before Rainbow, before Black Sabbath, before Solo, Dio was in a group called Elf. This is the one you always hear about, but they actually had 3 albums. I found the first and the third in the same day. I was super stoked for that. Greenville doth provideth. But was super happy to have that. And also, to keep the trend up of before they were famous, Billy Joel, Attila. There's a couple of people like Chevy Chase was in a psychedelic group, and Billy Joel was in a different band prior to this as well. But this is hard and heavy. Without a single guitar in sight. If I'm not mistaken, this album is guitarless, and it kind of rocks. This is this would be my favorite Billy Joel album. And outside of his works prior to this, I'd say everything after this, I don't know what would be my favorite, but the rest of it, I know what a tie for the worst would be everything else he ever made. But also, got to find it when it's clean. I've had to repress this for years. Inner sleeve in here is even minty. Superfly, you find it all the time, but it's always jacked up. Terrible ring wear. This partial gatefold with a little flap always rips and tears up. It always gets crunched. Finding a clean copy of Superfly has been a long, ongoing endeavor. My blaxploitation collection is really, I guess, chef's kiss. It is really. I don't. Chef. It is for all the years I was a chef. I never chef kissed. I think I blew some good opportunities there. But obligatory, you have to have it. One of the best soundtracks of all time. Really clean copy of Soft Machine with the die cut cover, the spinning wheel. Just a really choice, clean copy. I passed on other versions of this multiple times. I'm glad I waited. And that's one thing I'm doing more and more here. When the collection is so huge, it makes it easier to avoid unless something's really rare and obscure. I really I want less and less placekeepers in my collection. So if there's something I like or I love and I have to have it, I'll grab it. For the most part, I'll just wait for when I find a gem like this. Point and case. And this is actually something I got burned on, so it wasn't really my fault. I bought Repo Man a couple of years ago. And I was crate digging, and I was finding good stuff that day, and I was excited. And I guess I won over on another album that shouldn't have been in a dollar bin. And so I really cleaned house on that one. But this copy, a different copy. The jacket was pristine, didn't check the wax. The wax was just absolutely roached. Finally found a really clean copy of this, so I have to. Another soundtrack, absolutely obligatory. Circle Jerks and Black Flag, just an absolute staple of just punk rock albums, much less anything punk or soundtracks. Just as a punk comp, this is killer stuff. Repo Man, you should have in your collection. Here's another thing that is the thrill of crate digging. So this kind of goes along the lines of Moby Grape, the washboard middle finger cover. There's a little hidden gem on this. If you know, you know. And so I'd found the original cover of this on brown bag. This one still has the original brown bag inner sleeve. Really clean copy here. But still has slight ring wear here. But for a reason, whenever I find this, it always has terrible ring wear or is an alternate cover. So, and then I actually think this has musical value. It's not just a novelty cover. I've kind of purged a lot of the novelty novelty covers. I always enjoyed them as well, but I have less friends in the house, and my other half is no longer a part of my life, and they were a big contributor to constantly pursuing novelty covers. So I've mostly cut those out, but this is both a novelty cover and an album with musical value. All right, dollars. I mentioned dollar bins briefly here. Dollar bin dig of the year. This was absolutely filthy. Has the original inner sleeve. The record wasn't even. It was in between the inner sleeve and the record itself. Disgusting, filthy, nasty. It was so dirty you couldn't tell if it had scratches. This cleaned up marvelously. It plays fantastically, and backstroke. I'm trying to tell you, if you have a good car stereo and you got to drive, not the drive to work, the drive home from work, especially on a Friday. Play if you hook up your device or Bluetooth or whatever, if you just want a jam in your car, Fatback, Backstroke, this is a winner. And I've been back to DJing, and that's just a winner. I try to fight the urge to work this in every session because I can get redundant, and I like to keep the sets, keep the people guessing. But so along the line of DJing, man, I had to cut myself off because I know this is gonna be a hang. My goal is to just make this video for the length of one album, but I got a lot of 45 gems here. I even acquired stuff like some of these sweet 45 boxes in really clean condition. I got a couple few of these. I could talk about my new decks. I got some techniques. I got a new Optimus mixer. I gotta let go, otherwise it's gonna get too long-winded. But in the realm of DJing, one of the things I've been pursuing way more of, in addition to 45s, which is logical, is 12-inch singles. So sometimes it just is what it is, like Let's Dance and Cat People, David Bowie. Just a really clean 12-inch single. So this is a really easy record to work into multiple gigs. It has a lot of crossover, and it's pretty cool. I played this on an 80s night, and then I've worked in some other sets, and it's really fun, cool stuff. So these are cheap. When you find them, you grab them. And then there's stuff like the maxi singles, you know? So, She Bop, Cyndi Lauper. I don't know if I'd be that amazed. Like, calling this like one of my best finds of 2024 seems a little ridiculous, except for the fact that, you know, this as a maxi single, I think that's what they're called. Someone correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But it has She Bop, but it has like a special dance mix, and then the original version, right? So this being my second favorite 80s song about female masturbation, when I spin this, like, it goes hard. The energy gets up in the room, and the girls wild out, and it's a fun time. This brings great energy to a DJ set, and random cover. So there we go. Along that lines too. Also, speaking of cover me. Bruce Springsteen gets like equal amounts of love and hate in the vinyl community. Some people like have him highly overrated, and some people hold him in such high regards. I like Bruce Springsteen, but it's not like this thing I've like ever been really pursuing like his music. Like it's not enough that I don't know how often I need like an album experience. But this song is one of my favorite Bruce Springsteen songs, and Cover Me is a gem. And then this has a undercover mix, a dub mix, a second dub mix, and a radio version. All of them go hard. So it's cool that the original version's there if you just want to present it as such. But the dub versions, you wouldn't think like this being like super danceable and fun. Great track. Really surprised some of the guys I DJ with. They were just like, Eric, I don't know if I would have bought this. That's tremendous. And it really is. Love this song. You know what I mean? But also, man, I got a gang of these. I'm going to keep it limited so I don't go too long-winded. 12-inch rap singles. Because we're on all the Pharaohs. That's the clique I DJ with. Not to get too long-winded here. I got one of these framed I keep in the record room here. This was the gig for Halloween. So we're doing big things, and it's just a really fun, good time, right? So the Pharaohs, that's my DJ crew. The clique I DJ with, right? But so these are always fun to work in. We're all vinyl. There's no hacks. There's no cheating. There's no laptops. So when you play some like early 2000s or later 2000s rap single, no one's going to see it. So some of the ones that go the hardest is Ludacris Fantasy. The last gig I played, I got this recently, for $1, D4L, Laffy Taffy. The whole room instantly smiling. People on the dance floor, butts wiggling, drinks pouring. Great times, D4L. And this one slaps. As soon as you hear that bum 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 hot shit, Nelly, country grammar, you could dismiss it if you don't like rap. But in a social setting, when the drinks are flowing and the end of the night, when you've been DJing whatever, a lot of times, no matter what the gig was, it kind of devolves into heavy funk and dance music and hip hop. This gets the people, especially the late 20-somethings to the mid 40-somethings. This brings out the energy in everyone. All right, especially also bring out the energy. Not a rap single, but a soundtrack. I guess another soundtrack in here. This one's a lenticular cover. I don't know how well it's going to show, but at the right angle, the blunt lights and smokes. But Dr. Dre, keep their heads ringing. This slaps as hard as anything on a proper stereo system, and this is one of the hardest bumping tracks. Not that this is kind of like whittled down to a single track, but that goes so hard. And there's other songs on here that have value too. But I grabbed this at a record store. Sound and Vision. I've not made it there physically, but that's a local store here in Malden. I copped this from their booth at a local record show. But another thing, completely shift from the rap realm. Ramones, Pleasant Dreams. I've wanted this for a long time. and to finally find an original copy this clean. Very glad. I did pass on sealed repress recently, and for the price difference, you know, it's noticeable. But between buying like a something with no history, or I don't know why the originals mean more to me than they used to. I don't think I'm like exclusively chasing like having to have the originals, but I was glad I held out and grabbed this one. So you're gonna know this because KKK took my baby away. But probably my favorite opening track to kick off any Ramones album is "We Want the Airwaves." Probably great opening track. One of my favorite Ramones tracks ever, but maybe my favorite opening to a Ramones album. I don't know. I'd have to sit and think on that. If Vinyl Richie or anyone else is out there that's a old school punker, let me know what you think. All right. Also, at a record show, didn't expect to find this. I've only found this once in a while before. It was grossly overpriced, in terrible condition. To find a Shrinkie copy with these old school price stickers of $2.45, King Records. If you see here, Charlie Ryan, this is the original version of Hot Rod Lincoln. You'd know from Commander Cody and his Lost Airmen. So just cool, like rockabilly, kind of, you know, music, country, whatever. I'm getting sidetracked here. I'm looking at the clock. So was super stoked to find that. Forgive me not going too long in it. I guess the 145 I'm sneaking in here. Earlier this year, I bought this copy of Tell Him on Hit Records. So, and that is Peggy Gaines. So I grabbed that because, man, I've been digging for this one forever, and I just had no expectations of finding this. Then a recent record show, like a Guitar Expo / record show, I find this. The guy has it priced stupid cheap for what it goes for. And then for whatever reason, his records, and the same guy had that Charlie Ryan that had me stumbling over my words. He had this, but all his soul records and soul and funk and R&B records were half off. So this was already priced stupid cheap for what it goes for, and then it was half off on top of this. Absolute deal of the year. This was a steal. Extremely clean copy. I like that I still have the 45 because it's a different version. This is for more home listening because depending on how you have your gear set up at a DJ session, sometimes the monos don't go the way you want them to. So I'll play this 45 and it plays really hot. Sounds great. But I like this as a whole to listen to. And then, like, say, if you're playing a smaller room and you don't have multiple sound towers or stacks, then it's easier to play this out in the wild too. Last thing from the shows, I want to say it was a German pressing, but this is a European-only pressing, if I recall right, of the Unstoppable 16 Hits of James Brown. Shrinkie copy on London. Just really, really pristine record here. Also, just underpriced and then half off. So that was a good day of digging. All right, last thing here, because I think we've more or less just hung out for the length of one album, which is my goal. I'm probably hitting 40 minutes here, but we haven't hung out in a while. Cheers to you if you've been a trooper, you hung out the whole time, but I'm kicking it for the length of the record. I don't think that's too much to ask. I keep on making videos, I'll tighten it up. So the Halloween gig, you know, you're playing stuff like a theme, and sometimes you just have to be really loose if you want to do an eclectic set. So you'll play stuff like The Zombies, you know what I mean, or Electric Frankenstein, or you could play, you know, Alice Cooper, Feed My Frankenstein. Things like that, right? And so in the same way, Soul for Real, Candy Rain. You're like, oh, the word pun, right? So nearly impossible to find. I bought this online on eBay. The most I ever played for a single. And I got burnt. I figured, let's keep it real. I'm showing you all these goodies I have. Let's show when Eric's a big dumb dummy. I did not investigate this better. For the price, I could have bought the full album. I'm thinking to myself, do I need the full album? I bought this in like a maxi single. This has side one, a Heavy D and the Trackmaster mix, and the Swing of Things Corona mix, and the side two is the Big Daddy Go-Go mix. All of them are doo-doo. All of them are doo-doo. The original version is the best version. It's not provided on this. I don't find any of these playable, even though it's pristine in the shrink wrap. Just mint choice. I wish I didn't buy this. I paid too much money for it, and I got burnt, and I felt like I should have done better research. Yeah, I felt so stupid. Another thing I felt stupid on, and I don't regret this. Because it looks so clean, I had to take a chance. Okay, so, but I should have known, because if you see that right there, that's Pickwick. Canadian bullshit. Not that all things Canadian are bullshit, but innately, mostly, most things Canadian are bullshit. But, tongue in cheek. Everyone lighten up. This is a damn shame. I love blaxploitation. All this is performed by played and sung by the Ghana Soul Explosion. It's all family affair, backstabbers, superstition. So it's Stevie Wonders and all the big 70s stuff that's that kind of blaxploitation-esque covered this Superfly TNT. Really, really rad, great musical value if it didn't sound like pure dog crap. I cleaned the ever-living mess out of this. I played it on 2 different setups with 2 different needles. It is a really clean record, minimal scratches. It's not dirty. This is one of the most crackly, loud, distorted, awful presence I've ever heard. It's a shame because the music has value. What a waste. This is pure hot crap. It's literally only staying in the collection because the record cover's dope. I mean, it's a dope cover. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's rad. It just is. But and then one day, I don't know, maybe I got to do some research. I would like to have this music on a different avenue. Or is there a different pressing of Pickwick on this that doesn't sound like shit? But anyways, I'll end with 2 fails. So the best of 24 with 2 fails then. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We shot just past the length of one record, so here we are at 40 minutes. I talked as fast as possible. I'm sorry if I assaulted you with verbiage, but I just wanted to kick it, hang out for a little bit. I don't know if I will or will not edit this. You'll know by the time you got to this point. Thank you so much for hanging out. Cheers. Rock on. Peace. All that jazz. Love y'all.